It's misting now. Temperature in the high 60s. Rain this morning and expected a light rain throughout the day with light wind. Down to the field and Laura Oakman.
Hi, Chris. The outside focus. No sacks, no takeaways. The inside. Justin Simmons telling me it's been about what we've done right, not what we've done wrong. The defense watched clips yesterday. Simmons telling me I saw guys hustling, trying to get the ball out, making plays. We were like, this is the defense we know is capable of doing big things. Von Miller telling me he watched his own highlights from years past, reminding him what made him great.
Thank you, as Denver won the toss and deferred, and the kick sails through. Aaron Rodgers and the Packer offense will start from the 25-yard line, and Rodgers with a touchdown pass moving up on the all-time list. Fran Tarkenton is next for him. And you'll notice the uniforms. These are the throwback jerseys, the third jersey from the late 30s through the 40s where the Packers won championships. And of course the Broncos are in their orange-white. So the Packers throwback, Broncos looking for a step forward. Denver first time they're 0-2 since 1999 to start a season. The Pack 2-0. Rodgers to throw. Across the 32-yard line, just short of the first down. The pass completion to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Offensive line a little beat up with Lane Taylor's bicep injury. He's out at left guard. Elton Jenkins will step in for him over there.
Yeah, but they were rotating that through the course of training camp and then actually into week one. So not a big panic right there for the offensive line of the Packers, who played very well against that Vikings front last week.
After an 8-yard pickup, Aaron Jones trying to get the first down, and eventually does. Waits for the block, and Justin Simmons from his safety spot had to make the tackle, and that's the guy that head coach, defensive coordinator Vic Fangio said we cannot let get going as Aaron Jones. If we tackle him well, then we're going to have a good day. Yeah, they've got to really work on their tackling. And you can see some of these guys right there off the edge. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. When you look at the secondary and you've got Chris Harris and Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, you can't figure out why this team hasn't had a better opportunity to create turnovers the first 2 weeks of the season.
Fake
to Jones. Rodgers on the move, clips short and across midfield and down inside the 45. Mercedes Lewis. The Rodgers mobility made that happen. Yeah, and this is the most dangerous thing that can happen, and the Broncos defense is well aware of this. And I want you to watch Aaron Rodgers, number one, as his eyes are downfield the entire time. As he moves through the pocket, he's going to climb. He's down, and now he knows exactly where the line of scrimmage is. Gets a little bit lateral at the end of that scramble so he doesn't cross the line of scrimmage. His feel on the playing field is amazing. He knows exactly where he is at every moment. Field was covered through the light rain. It's in great condition. Pickup of 19 yards. Jamal Williams in at running back. Williams straight ahead and gets down to the 40-yard line. Two first-year head coaches guiding their teams. First-time ever head coaches. One, Vic Fangio in his 60s, longtime defensive coordinator, and the other, the offensive-minded Matt LaFleur in his 30s at age 39. After a pickup of 4. Opening drive for the Packers. They started fast last week against Minnesota. Broncos jump. Free play for Rodgers. He knows where to go with it. For Valdez-Scantling in the end zone. It's a Packer touchdown.
You get a favorable matchup at the snap. You've got your wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling on safety, Kareem Jackson, and then here's the classic Aaron Rodgers hard count. Gets the movement, has the free play.
Offside.
Everybody knows.
Defense number 58. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Everybody knows what's coming next. It's a shot down the field.
And defensive players always talk about Rodgers will get you. We have to watch the ball, not go by his cadence, his count. Well, the over-anxious Broncos trying to keep pressure on, trying to get that sack. Offside didn't matter, gave Rodgers the free play, a 40-yard touchdown toss. Crosby with the extra point. Opening drive, Rodgers on the move and into the end zone. It's 7-0 Packers. Mentioned that Rodgers was moving up the all-time touchdown passing list. He ties Tarkenton at 9, and with Eli Manning going to the bench and Roethlisberger out for the year, by the end of the season, Rodgers could be up to 6 and catch Phillip Rivers. Deontay Spencer will bring it out of the end zone a few yards deep. Spencer across the 30, down the sideline goes Spencer and run out of bounds in Packer territory. A sparkling return, and Tremont Smith, a recent pickup this week from Kansas City, may have saved a score for the Pack.
Yeah, I want you to watch out about the 35-yard line as he breaks through right there. Now watch a little bit of the wall start to come into place. Really good job by the Bronco return team.
A return of 59 yards. We have not had a kickoff return in the NFL for a touchdown so far this season. And looks like they're marking the ball back at the 43-yard line.
It was a nice return, but it wasn't that nice.
The runner was down 40.
And Mason Crosby discussing on the Packers sideline.
Well, he took a big hit on that return. When you get out that far in the field, your kicker's going to come into play, and Mason Crosby took a big hit, so just making sure he's okay.
43-yard line of Green Bay. Lindsey to the 41. Joe Flacco, he came into the league, actually started his first game the same year that from the Packers Aaron Rodgers did in 2008, and you see where he ranks win-wise, over 100, and happy for a fresh start, thankful for his time in Baltimore, but said his last 6 weeks there last year were just miserable. And he's got Lindsey and Royce Freeman in the backfield together, and then splitting out as a receiver. And in motion, Freeman, he gets the football, and he's smothered back at the original line of scrimmage. Well, the offensive line has been a concern and an issue for this Bronco team. It
really has, and there's a style of play that they would like to do, but until Garrett Bowles kind of gets settled down at the left tackle spot, we'll keep an eye on those matchups during the course of the game. Leads the NFL with holding calls. They really can't take advantage of the thing that Joe Flacco does best, and that's stretch the field vertically. So let's see if they've got a protection plan together to help out Garrett Bowles at that left tackle spot.
On 3rd and 10, Flacco has time, can't find anybody, and he's going to go down. Oh, he had time to get rid of it, but Preston Smith eventually brought him down for the sack.
And that's your combination of coverage and pressure working together, because that was really created by the secondary. I mean, Joe Flacco has time in the pocket, and then it breaks down. There's just nowhere for him to go with the football. And you've got two very athletic edge rushers in this Green Bay front that are relentless in their pursuit.
That was the first time the Broncos took possession in the opponent's territory this season across midfield, and they could not take advantage. Colby Wadman punting. Shepard lets it bounce, and that's a bounce for the Packers. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. So after scoring on 5 plays, 75 yards, the defense does its job. After a 47-yard punt without a return, 20-yard line, Packer offense takes over. Second possession now. Darryl Johnston, Chris Myers, and a look at Matt LaFleur, the head coach who calls the plays. Each week a little more comfortable on the relaying in to his veteran quarterback. Jamal Williams, and fights hard to just get a couple of yards. Josie Jewell making the play.
Well, Packers up and down the first 2 weeks of the season with the start of the game. You see that first one against the Bears, and then what they did last week. Just an impressive start. Actually scored the first 3 possessions to jump out 21-0 against the Minnesota Vikings. The big question is, can they sustain it?
Quickly to the line. Rodgers throwing. Davante Adams, a first down across the 35-yard line.
We saw a great start like this last week, Chris, and then once they got out of the first quarter, they kind of went dark offensively, and that's been the concern.
Again to the line. This is the up-tempo. This is what Rodgers loves to do, and LaFleur said last week when they were in a rut, he wishes he had called more no huddle, more of this. Rodgers dumps it off. The ball is incomplete. In his hands and then flipping backwards. Geronimo Allison couldn't hold on. Now let's get a game break with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Chris. Lions-Eagles. Following an Eagles field goal, Jamal Agnew takes this one 100 yards for the score. The first kickoff return for a touchdown this year in the league. Nice start for the Lions. They're up 7-3 early. Chris?
Hi, thank you. We just said there hadn't been one when we saw Denver's return go for 60 yards.
319! 319! Here you go!
This is going against Green Bay, apparently.
False start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Brad Rodgers' first season as an NFL referee, his third as an official in the league, and Elton Jenkins, who's subbing in there for Lane Taylor, the rookie from Mississippi State, called for the penalty.
Still getting used to that hard card from Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, even your teammates have to adjust and be alert. Adams is a receiver. Williams to the bottom of your screen. Rodgers the other way, wide open, and overthrew reserve tight end Robert Tonyan.
And a couple of mistakes right here for the Green Bay Packers on this second drive. You had the drop by Geronimo Allison. You're going to have that taken away anyways with the penalty on the false start. But now the one thing that Matt LaFleur is concerned about when you play against a team with good pass rushers, and even though they haven't been productive for the Broncos right now, you look at Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, you don't want to be in third and long situations.
And they need 15 to get to the 47-yard line for a first down. It's only a three-man rush on Rodgers, so he's going to move around a little and throw on the run. Sideline catch is made inside the Denver 40. Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
So 3rd and 15, you've got two thoughts in mind. You can bring pressure or you can drop in coverage. They drop in coverage. That allows you to get double teams. There's a double team on Bradley Chubb coming off the right defensive end. They chipped Von Miller and then double teamed him coming off the left defensive end. That gives Rodgers the time to scramble and find receivers downfield.
He's already over 100 yards passing, 5 out of 7. Scantling with 3 catches.
319!
From the 40, Aaron Jones. And the Packers are ready. He'll lose 3 yards. Kareem Jackson, excellent play from his safety spot.
Well, you can see there was an emphasis placed on not allowing the Packer run game to get traction this week. I thought it was the difference last week against Minnesota, how well they ran it. And Vic Fangio told us we can't let that thing get going. Fangio,
who has seen a lot of Rodgers when he was the defensive coordinator of the Bears. And his assessment was, against great quarterbacks, there's no one way to play him. You got to mix it up and hope. He did say that Rodgers has an athletic arrogance, and he said, I mean that as a compliment.
Flipper! 319!
Jones, a receiver, top of your screen. Rodgers going deep for the tight end. Tonyan just off his fingertips. Robert Tonyan was open for a moment.
That's the hard part because they all know what to do when the play breaks down. Robert Tonyan out there on the outside, and it's an adjustment. And you're pressing up the field. Aaron's going to take the shots, and it was one of the things Justin Simmons told us. If you're deep, you've got to stay deep. We can't take chances to come up and try and help somebody out because Rodgers will extend it. He will get that ball over the top, and we saw it on that opening drive.
Rodgers thought he had that one. J.K. Scott's a punt. If the Packers don't convert on 3rd and 13.
319!
We're going to need a timeout here. by Green Bay. A little confusion. That was something LaFleur talked about. Reason for the wristband on third down last week was getting the play in faster. He thought it helped him get that in quicker to Aaron Rodgers as they adjust with this offense.
Well, it is wordy, and Matt LaFleur will admit that it's wordy. I think all the offensive coordinators or the play callers in this system will admit that it is a little bit wordy, and the longer you're in it, the more quickly you can get to the line of scrimmage. You start to recognize the completion of the call when you're halfway through it. But he's got to get that from Coach LaFleur. Then he's got to get that out in the huddle. So you're talking about saying it twice. That they are, up to 12, 14, 15 words long. And it gets wordier, on third down.
Yeah, Rodgers said he only used it about 5 or 6 times last week, especially on third down. And as Aaron Rodgers told us, this is the most verbose, system in terms of calling plays he's been in. He was so used to all those years with one offense in Green Bay. Third and 13. Middle of the field, overthrew an open Geronimo Allison. Would have been right around the first down marker, so J.K. Scott will come on.
And I agree, Chris. It's an opportunity to convert the 3rd and 13, and that would have been 2 third and longs that they would have had, but just a little bit high right there for Geronimo Allison.
Scott grew up in Denver, went to Mullen High School. His family, though, Wisconsin roots, mainly in the Madison area. And he boots it away for the Packers. Spencer, fair catch called for. He got wiped out. That was like a meatpacking truck coming down the highway, plowing him over. Clearly a fair catch given.
Well, when you're going downfield, you're trying to find that ball, you're trying to track it. And unfortunately, as he was tracking the football, he lost track of the returner.
That's Tony Brown, who blocked an extra point last week in the win over Minnesota.
I don't know,
Kick catch interference by the kicking team. Come here.
Yeah, the fans here are reacting to a highlight, and they think that he was blocked into him.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team number 28. 15-yard penalty from the 8-yard line. It's first down. Timeout.
I don't think it was forcible enough to block him into the return man. I think it was his responsibility to avoid contact.
After the special teams penalty, marked up at the 23. Philip Lindsay, the running back. Flacco in trouble and gets rid of it. Incomplete forward pass. The pressure was on. Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark from the middle.
Well, Zadarius Smith, I don't know what the play design was. It looks like they're trying to get a screen out the back door. But you've got to at least set and slow or change Zadarius Smith's path to the quarterback. You can't let him have a free run at Joe Flacco.
Flacco protected well at the 30-yard line. Cortland Sutton, and up across the 35, knocked forward to the 39-yard line on a Bronco first down.
Cortland Sutton working the outside against Kevin King. Nice job there, kind of turning him around, and then a quick break. That's where the separation occurred. And I tell you right now, these two corners for the Packers, Jair Alexander and Kevin King, are playing with a ton of confidence right now. I think it's going to be a good matchup today against Cortland Sutton and Emmanuel Sanders.
Sutton, sore ribs during the week, was on the injured list. Gain of 16 on that one. Royce Freeman across the 41-yard line. Time for a game break. Let's check it again with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. So the Eagles trailing 7-3 after that 100-yard return. Will the Eagles respond with a touchdown of their own? Jordan Howard from 1 yard out. Eagles up 10-7. Chris?
All right, thank you. Eagles and Packers, Thursday Night Football on Fox. Here in Green Bay. Aaron Andrews going to sit down with Aaron Rodgers before that one. after a 3-yard pickup. Flacco, quick toss. Emmanuel Sanders has run out of bounds short of the first down. Let's check in with Laura.
Chris, you just said Royce Freeman on that last down had a carry. Just to update you, the whole last defensive series, he was on the bench getting his left shoulder worked on by the athletic trainer. And when he wasn't getting worked on, he's carrying the ball around the sideline, having guys punch it out, try to punch it out from every direction, testing that strength. He is in, but that left shoulder was very much bothering him.
All right, thank you, Laura. We'll keep a close watch on 3rd and 3. Lindsay, first down, and to the 45 of Green Bay. Creative call on a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, I like it. You know, everything is open. That's why you hear coaches say we need to stay ahead of the chains, because when you get into those 3rd and 3s, you've got the entire playbook open. It doesn't have to be a pass. And just a quick hitter up the middle for Phillip Lindsay. Now here's a great sequence of plays for this Broncos offense. This is where they have stalled. They get on the cusp of that scoring zone, and whether it's a penalty or the inability to convert a 3rd down, they're missing the opportunities for points with field goals.
Lindsay, straight up the middle, hit hard, stopped at the 37. The rookie Darnell Savage put up a wall to keep him from getting the first down.
A really nice job by Darnell Savage. Watch, he's going to drop all the way in from way back in center field and make a really good tackle. I mean, there is no extra yardage on that one.
And Lindsay, a Pro Bowler last year, a local product from Aurora, Colorado. And his college football at Colorado, undrafted Rookie of the Year to make the Pro Bowl a first. And gets the football again and gets the first down. You know, the Broncos have only scored, we mentioned, 2 touchdowns this year. Each came on the last possession of each of their first 2 games.
And for whatever reason, when they've gotten into this spot on the field, it's just some mental breakdowns, you know, a lack of attention to detail and kind of some negative plays here and there. So, you know, a good start here. Now let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. You got to get some points out of this drive. You had great field position on your opening possession and lost 4 yards.
Flacco, short drop, dumps it off to Lindsay, who gets to the 30-yard line. He's been the workhorse on this drive. You heard Laura's report on Freeman, who's carried only twice in the game. Rich Scangarello, first-time NFL offensive coordinator for Vic Fangio and his Bronco team.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed the conversation with Coach Scangarello yesterday. I think it's very interesting, his path to the position he has. Actually, in an NFL opportunity, and would go down to the college level to be a play caller to get that on his resume.
Royce Freeman checks back in. And he gets the football in a delay handoff. And tackled. He couldn't get outside. Blake Martinez grabbed him by the ankles.
And Laura told us about that injury to the shoulder. You wonder right there, he's a big physical back. You know, just kind of get that north and south and maybe take on Blake Martinez, you know, straight ahead as opposed to trying to break it outside.
3rd and 3. 28-yard line of Green Bay. Joe Flacco has time. Can he get the first down? He's going to run for it and make it. And Blake Martinez kept him from going further, but the 6'6" Flacco couldn't find anything. It's last on his checklist of things to do, but he wanted to get the first down.
Yeah, and the good thing is Joe went head first on the scramble. If he hook slides and goes feet first, they're going to mark him at that spot. He's going to come up short. So good job committing to it and getting that first down by Joe Flacco.
Yeah, when you dive forward, you're giving yourself up now. That's accepted, and obviously a running ball carry with it as Flacco was running toward the first down, so Martinez had to go for it. He picked up 3, just enough. Quick pass inside the 20 and down inside down the 15. Fullback Andrew Beck, the rookie from Texas. Make that Jeff Hireman the tight end. Excuse me. Beck was blocking on the play. Speaking of fullbacks, Andy Janovich still out with that pec muscle, and that has affected this offense. Packers have kept teams out of the end zone when they've been in the red zone. This will be the 12th play of this drive for Denver. Philip Lindsay stopped at the 13-yard line.
That's one of the things why it's so hard to drive, because you may have some of those mistakes, a penalty against yourself, a missed assignment, and all of a sudden you've got a negative play. So when people talk about having that explosive play, and that was the demise last week for Mike Pettin and his defense. The Minnesota Vikings put up 4 really big explosive plays that kind of shifted that game. So you know that was a focus all week.
Well, you got a Green Bay defense that doesn't give up scores in the red zone, and then you got a Denver offense that's having trouble scoring in the red zone. Flacco to the 6-yard line and falling forward. That's good enough for a first down. It's Cortland Sutton again.
This has been a really nice drive, really methodical, a good mix of run and pass.
Flacco and the Broncos may want to let this clock wind down, catch their breath. Packers came out opening drive, an Aaron Rodgers touchdown toss. Broncos defense stiffens, and the Denver offense is on the move after 1 quarter. Second quarter, Laura Oakman on the field, Daryl Johnston, Chris Myers, Aaron Rodgers touchdown pass the difference, but Flacco and the Broncos from the 4-yard line of Green Bay. To start the second quarter, Philip Lindsay straight ahead, and it'll be 3rd and goal. You know, Flacco 5 out of 6 in that first quarter passing after his first pass was off the mark, and now here in the second quarter. Overall, though, in the first quarter, his numbers 17 of 18 so far this year. Will he put it up here on 2nd and goal? Lindsay, touchdown Broncos. A 15-play drive. And Lindsay did a lot of the work.
There's a nice balance on that drive. Elijah Wilkinson, watch right here, and then you've also got Noah Fant, the tight end. Yeah, that's where the hole is created. Good footwork by Philip Lindsay. You're starting out to the left. You see the little cut right there, back to the backside.
Brandon McManus, 89 consecutive point after kicks made, make that 90. And that's the longest current streak in the NFL. That's the Broncos' answer to what Rodgers did in the opening quarter. Philip Lindsay, first touchdown of this season. Darryl, how does he keep that hair under the helmet?
I don't know. Mine fits fine. I'm losing it. I'm losing a little bit every day. So I didn't have to struggle with that issue.
Back when you played, you had hair. It fits. It's probably an extra cushion.
There you go.
Broncos tie the game here in the second quarter. Tremont Smith lets it go out to the 25-yard line. Let's see. Well, he's going to show us right on cue. Makes it's a comfortable fit for Philip Lindsay.
It even kind of gives, the back looks like he's got a little neck roll. He's got like a built-in neck roll with the hair.
Whatever it takes. A feel-good story. Hometown Bronco, and helping the Broncos get back into this game. Royce Freeman, more important, Lindsay may carry the ball more today. Royce Freeman went to the locker room. We'll get an update on that.
19.
Aaron Jones straight ahead from the 25. And time for another game break with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. Lions trailing 10-7 in Philly when Matt Stafford hands off to Kerryon Johnson, scores from 1 yard out. Lions up 14-10 early in the second. Chris, Darryl, and more.
And thank you. Got a good one going there. Patriots are up big on the Jets. Vikings lead the Raiders. Colts in front of the Falcons in Indianapolis. Bears play Monday night with Washington. A Packer moved.
False start. Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Disruptive things like this, that's on David Bakhtiari. Remember, Matt LaFleur said one of the key things he told his team this week, Darryl, was we're facing an 0-2 team that we know we're going to get their best shot. Don't let the record, our 2-0, their 0-2, get in the way of preparation.
A talented 0-2 team that with a new coach is just kind of struggling to find their traction the same way that Matt LaFleur's offense is struggling to find their traction in their first season together. So this is a good Broncos team that just doesn't have the record to show for it right now.
Yeah, they feel they've played better than 0-2 as Williams breaks across the 30-yard line. Trying to get a push from his line. And there's a flag down as he goes down. Actually, a player injured. Looks like Derek Wolfe back at the 26-yard line. There was kind of a surge at the end of that.
Personal foul. Face mask, number 47. Defense. 15-yard penalty out under the run. First down.
Josie Jewell called for the penalty. Derek Wolfe, the injured Bronco. And Derek Wolfe helped up and on the cart in pain, being taken to the locker room. DeMarcus Walker will come in for the injured Bronco.
Yeah, right in the center of your screen, and it's a low. It looks like lower right leg, and he's moving good right there. I think something happens like right in that area as one of his teammates comes rolling in.
And while he was down, Billy Turner, the Packer right guard who was with the Broncos last year, went over and made sure that Wolfe was okay. 12-yard run, 15-yard penalty. Rodgers from midfield. And Davante Adams turned at the right time inside the 30-yard line of Denver.
Yeah, really well done. And this is so hard to defend. And this is Chris Harris, very good corner in the NFL, and they're working down the sideline, and it's just thrown on that back shoulder. You've gotten beyond your assignment in coverage. He kind of gets on top of Davante Adams.
And it looks like a challenge flag is coming from the Broncos sideline.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to challenge offensive pass interference at the end of that. You had Davante Adams with his hand on the back of Chris Harris, but I don't think he used it.
Denver is challenging that number 17 pushed off on his route. Offensive pass interference is their challenge.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is not clear, and obviously I don't think it significantly hinders Chris Harris from making a play on the ball.
All right, so this is a look. We'll take a further look under review after a challenge. Vic Fangio, a first challenge as a head coach, and he loses it. Not enough to overturn it. Timeout assessed for the Broncos. 22-yard pickup. We'll show you that play in a moment. Another look. Rodgers to the 22-yard line. It's Davante Adams. Not enough really to overturn this.
No, not at all. Now the hand is on the back, but there is no advantage gained. You know what I think may start happening now as the defender. If I feel that hand on my back on that back shoulder fade, I'm going to bend at the waist and kind of fall forward like, hey, that guy really just shoved me to create separation.
And after 2 weeks in the league, there were 16 pass interference review challenges. Only 5 were overturned. Jamal Williams hit in the backfield and dragged out at the 24-yard line by Bradley Chubb. Let's get an update on Royce Freeman. Laura?
Actually, this is on Wolfe. A quick and unfortunately not surprising update. He has been ruled out for the game with an ankle injury, Chris.
Okay. We'll get more on Freeman, who went to the locker room for Green Bay. Wolfe a moment ago, again replaced by DeMarcus Walker, the 3-year defensive lineman from Florida State. After a 2-yard loss, Rodgers, it's knocked away. He got it into the hands of Valdez-Scantling, but Devontae Bosby made sure he didn't hang on.
Yeah, Devontae Bosby, one of my old San Antonio Commander players.
What
We're
league?
back in the Alliance.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, the AAF. Okay.
So great. One of our guys that we got another opportunity for the NFL, and nice break on the ball right there. Kind of playing off, and excellent break on the ball by Devontae Bosby.
Can never have enough football.
Never have enough. Go through withdrawals.
Nine straight field goals going back to last year for Crosby. 42 yards away, and he gives Green Bay the lead. Just over 11 minutes to go before halftime. And the rain is lightened up, just misting now here in Lambeau.
John Elway looked like the greatest player who'd never win a championship until one play changed his destiny. With the score tied in Super Bowl 32, Elway bolted from the pocket and produced the iconic image in Broncos history, leading Denver to its first NFL title.
And Elway finished his career MVP of Super Bowl 33, beating the Falcons for back-to-back titles. Now in his 9th season in this current role as president and GM. Touchback to the 25-yard line. Comes Joe Flacco on the Bronco offense. You know, he said, I don't like the record, but I do like the way our team is playing. He liked the effort, but their performances in the first 2 games of this season were better than what the record had shown.
Absolutely. You know, just doesn't have the results that they would like, obviously, sitting at 0-2. But, I mean, Justin Simmons said it. Von Miller said it. You watch the game film. You can see the things that the coaches are teaching us. We're transferring those techniques to the game. We're just not creating the plays yet, and we've got to just stay true to what we're doing.
Philip Lindsay slips through and gets up to the 33-34 yard line.
And will be interesting to see. You know, Royce Freeman is back on the sideline, and I think that Royce was going to have a bigger role. So this is a nice job by Philip Lindsay. Last week, 17 touches for Philip and 16 touches for Royce.
And Lindsay, right, it's Philip Lindsay. He is only, 5'8" and 190 pounds. Freeman, they thought, would be a major player in the passing game, his pass protection and receiving. He picked up 9, did Lindsay. Blitz, Flacco. The catch made and across midfield, Noah Fant. Rookie from Iowa.
A lot of upside for Noah Fant, and when we talked to Rich Scangarello, he told us that he reminded him of George Kittle, who he worked with the last couple of years out in San Francisco, and that's a high compliment because that was a guy who really just kind of accelerated his learning curve through that offense with the Niners.
Yeah, he said the tight end role in this team is a tough position to play. Freeman is back in. Royce Freeman the carry after they picked up 17 on the previous play. Let's get a game break. Say hi to the first time to Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Hello, Chris. Well, another NFC North, AFC West matchup going on in Minnesota. The Vikings host the Raiders. Adam Thielen with a 1-yard touchdown run. He also has a 35-yard reception. It is all Vikings so far, 21-0.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Lions are winning in Philadelphia 14-10. The Bears play, as we said, on Monday night. The Chiefs are leading by 1 against Baltimore. Freeman carries into the 41 of Green Bay.
And back in the lineup, and this is where you really need, you mentioned the bigger body back running between the tackles, but also I think it has been a pleasant surprise, his production in the passing game in this Broncos offense. So good to see Royce Freeman back on the field.
And they are both in, both Lindsay and Freeman at the same time. That's something that they wanted to do in this game. They thought it allowed opportunities here on 3rd and 2. Catch for a first down inside the 33. Emmanuel Sanders, who had 11 catches last week. Adrian Amos was right with him. That's his second catch today.
A really nice job finding the little soft spot in the zone coverage.
Sanders the best hands on this team and showed you there in some traffic and damp conditions. Philip Lindsay out of the 30 had 16 touches in the first 2 games, and Lindsay already with 10 touches here in the first half.
You mentioned not getting the results that they wanted when we were talking about John Elway, and that big sticking point, really, this area of the field, when they would get into that plus 45, plus 40 yard line, drives would stall. They've already gone down the field for a touchdown. Getting into that area of the field again right now, and the execution looks very similar to their scoring drive.
Flacco 7 out of 8. Dumps it off across the middle. Lindsay with a first down. Sliding inside the 20-yard line. The spot looks like good enough to be put down. They're deciding whether it's the 17 or the 18. It's going to be a first down from the 18 of Green Bay.
A little bit too much space here between coverage and the back. He's able to get inside Blake Martinez right away. That's a lot of quickness that you're dealing with as a linebacker covering Philip Lindsay out of the backfield.
And Freeman is back in this much maligned offensive line, holding up well these last 2 drives. Royce Freeman creating an opportunity. The ball comes out and there's a flag down and a touchdown, but can you advance the ball? Let's check.
Holding offense, number 10. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. It remains first down.
Emmanuel Sanders called for the infraction.
Working against Jair Alexander. So you come down, you get into position. Now the play breaks. That's so ticky-tack. I don't agree with that call. And we're supposed to be, the rumor is we're supposed to not be calling as many holdings coming into this week. I did not agree with that call.
Well, the Broncos got a bad call on the roughing the passer last week. The league later admitted that was a mistake. Allowed the Bears to keep alive an opportunity for that game-winning field goal in Denver. Philip Lindsay inside the 10 before going out of bounds, getting some of that yardage back.
Boy, they are really committed to the running game. You have a play like that. I mean, you've got a touchdown run that gets brought back on a holding penalty, and Rich Scangarello goes right back to the run. So you pointed out, Chris, this much maligned offensive line, maybe one of the reasons that Joe Flacco hasn't been able to kind of really excel in this offense, because what he does is throw the ball, maybe holds it longer. This group is doing a really nice job against a Packer front that's played very well the first 2 weeks.
Sanders in motion, Lindsay and Freeman in the backfield. And it's Lindsay. Freeman gets inside. And it'll bring up third down and looks like just a yard.
That's the hard part, right? You get second and short. You want, hey, let's just go get the first down, and we'll get a new set of downs here. And now you find yourself in a third and short. So it didn't work well on second and short. Now you got to dial up something on third and short.
Well, Fangio said, remember, they went for 2. He's got an aggressive nature. So even if they don't get it here, right, you think they're going for it with Flacco on third down.
They've got him spotted beyond the marker.
Yeah, well, he is, what, 6'6", and he got the first down.
Not a lot of movement there at the start, so good job by that offensive line hanging in there and getting the surge a little bit late.
Quick snap, quarterback keeper. First and goal now from the 8-yard line.
Now that's a nice response after that touchdown run was called back on the holding penalty, to get it right back and get down here, first and goal.
Have a timeout, it looks like.
I wonder if the clock was getting down, you wonder if he wanted it bumped back up.
Timeout. Denver, they're first. It's 30 seconds. Correction, that's their second timeout.
Now this from Progressive. Looked like the play clock may have been running down, so the timeout used by Denver, 1 remaining. Flacco on first down for the end zone and incomplete, trying to get to Sanders. Jair Alexander knocked it away.
I like the call here because you go play action. You've been running the ball very effectively down the field on this drive, but that defense not fooled. And there's Jair Alexander, and mentioned it earlier in the game. He and Kevin King really playing well at the corner spot.
Philip Lindsay straight ahead. He has the Bronco touchdown run earlier, and that will bring up 3rd and goal.
And that's the second part, having the confidence to call pass on the first down, because you usually get an easier coverage to anticipate. You have the confidence to come right back around on 2nd down and hand the ball off in the run game.
Lindsay, 11 carries for 50 yards, averaging over 4.5 a carry with a touchdown. Flacco goes down. Za'Darius Smith, and a flag down inside the 5-yard line over on the Broncos side of the field.
Illegal shift. Offense. The receivers that they got set. That penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
The sack stands. 2nd one for the Pack today.
Yeah, so here's your group right there. That group of receivers never got fully set before the ball was snapped. So there's your penalty for the illegal shift. And then Za'Darius Smith coming in from that defensive right side. And again, held it a little bit. Good coverage by the Packers on the back end. He's got to hold it. It gives time for Za'Darius Smith to get home for the sack.
30-yard field goal try. Brandon McManus ties the game. And after the fast start by the Packers, we've got a tie game with Darryl Johnston, Chris Myers, and the time of possession now heavily in favor of Denver. So that's one way to take care of Aaron Rodgers, keep the ball away from him.
That's the best thing about time of possession, is you're keeping that Green Bay offense on the sideline. But there's so many people that talk about it. It's what you do with the football when you have it. And right there, I think the Denver Broncos missed a big opportunity. You've got 1st and goal about the 7-yard line, and you walk away with a field goal. So it's got to be a little bit frustrating. But they've gotten over that one problem that they've showed the first 2 weeks, getting into that scoring area, crossing midfield into your opponent's territory. They've started to bog down a little bit. With 2 drives today, though, they've gone right down the field. But unfortunately, this time, the red zone got him.
Joe Flacco sacked twice. But the Bronco defense, after that opening drive, when Rodgers threw the touchdown pass to Valdez-Scantling, has tightened up. Under 4 minutes to play before the half. I mentioned the time of possession, more than 2-1 in favor of the Broncos, and actually the number of plays, the yards similar. So Packers have had some bigger plays, more explosive plays.
But the other important thing is when you're controlling the ball as the visiting team, you take the fans out of it. So that, maybe not the results that they wanted there on that last drive, but because they're controlling the game right now here at Lambeau, the fans really haven't been able to get into it and cheer for their team.
That last drive, they had the ball 7.5 minutes to the Broncos. Aaron Jones stopped short by Shelby Harris up front. If you weren't with us earlier, Derek Wolfe injured, out for the remainder of the game. Royce Freeman for the Broncos was hurt, went to the locker room, came back, and has been able to play. But Philip Lindsay carrying the load for the Broncos. Rodgers 7 out of 12, over 130 yards on the touchdown. haven't had a turnover in this game. Broncos still looking for that first sack or takeaway of this season. Rodgers on the run, completes, and going out of bounds is Jones.
That's the hard part. You can actually have a good pass rush and get in, but now you're dealing with Aaron Rodgers, and there's Von Miller standing up on the edge and makes a nice move to get to the quarterback, but Aaron Rodgers able to slip outside and get it down the field.
One thing that Matt LaFleur said about Fangio's defense is he said they're flexible the way they move, and it stresses your offense. And on 3rd and 3, Williams is in the backfield. Rodgers to throw. And on the move, completes. The ball is knocked out of Valdez-Scantling's hands. It would have been enough for a first down. There was Bosby again.
Nice play again by Devontae Bosby there, but we're getting a little bit of pressure here now. They're getting close, and you just keep building, you keep grinding. We've talked about how you've got to trust what you're being taught during the week, trust the effort that you're giving on the field, and they'll come. They've gotten close here a couple of times.
J.K. Scott back to punt, and Spencer inside the 25 of Denver waiting to return. Fair catch called for, given a yard inside the 20. Hey, this week starts Saturday on strong big noon Saturdays. Game of the week, Texas Tech kicking Jalen Hurts and 5th-ranked Oklahoma. It starts with a big noon kickoff pregame show at 11 Eastern on Fox and on the Fox Sports app. Also, Errol Spence and Sean Porter, premier boxing champions, on pay-per-view. That's coming up in just 6 days.
Errol Spence, a local Dallas guy.
Should be a terrific
I'll be cheering
fight.
for him.
A couple of guys who know how to mix it up. Flacco on first down, and ball comes out, and that's a fumbled football. And it's still fumbled. The Broncos were on it. Now the Packers have it. The rookie Rashad Gary came out of there with it. But Wilkinson, the tackle, he got to it first and had it. They should celebrate. They came in, this defense tied for the top spot in takeaways in the early season. That's their 6th.
I tell you, it's a lost art, Chris. You know, you see a fumble on the ground and you think that that's an easy thing to do, and it's not. And here comes Preston Smith. He's going to have the pressure. He knocks it loose before that hand comes forward. There's your fumble right there. Now, Elijah Wilkinson has a chance to get on this ball. It's his guy that made the sack, and boy, you jump on it and you just miss time, and there it goes. An opportunity for him to have a bad play, but get the football and keep the possession back.
The takeaway confirmed.
That's just a great job by Preston Smith with, you know, the hand-eye right there to be able to get that ball knocked out of Joe Flacco's hand on the pass rush.
He's huffing and puffing after a hustle play. Flacco frustrated at the 5-yard line. 6th takeaway this year for the Packer defense. Aaron Jones tackled, he'll lose yardage. And that was Bradley Chubb making sure he didn't get upfield. Packers will take this to the 2-minute warning. They'll have 2 timeouts remaining. It's a 10-10 game at Lambeau. After the first turnover, Packers are knocking on the door. The details, stats, highlights coming up on the Visa halftime report. Cowboys leading Miami. The Lions are up, so are the Vikings. Visa halftime coming up in a moment. Aaron Jones on 2nd down into the end zone. Touchdown, Packers.
A little bit easier for a guy like Aaron Jones at 5'9" to get small, but boy, he got real small here and kind of squirted through that little hole down on the goal line. Didn't look like there was a whole lot there, and then he just came shooting out of the pile for the touchdown.
It's only his 7th carry of this first half. Hasn't averaged more than a couple yards a carry, but got it into the end zone. And the Crosby extra point. It's a 7-point Green Bay lead.
I mean, from here, it didn't look like there was a whole lot there, and then just, whoo, look at him. He just bent down and came shooting out right into the end zone.
At 5'9", working his way between the big men.
Well, we've had the Packers for the last 2 weeks, and against the Vikings and now the Broncos, both teams with defensive-minded head coaches, both of them raved about Aaron Jones and said the Packers did a great job. They got a steal in that draft.
He was selected in the 5th round from UTEP. This is his 3rd year.
How do you get an all-time leading rusher at a Division I school in the 5th round?
And he last week had his 4th career 100-yard game. Last year led the NFL with 5.5 yards a carry in that department. He missed some time with a suspension and some injury. But he has flourished in LaFleur's offense so far. That's his 15th career touchdown. Packers scored quick, so the Broncos will have some time to work with, but only 1 timeout. And remember, Vic Fangio lost a challenge, so they're down to 1 challenge remaining. Under 2 minutes, it's a booth review. Touchback. See what Kurt Menefee has going in Los Angeles.
Walk with me through the Visa halftime as the undefeated Ravens take on the undefeated Chiefs. We'll see if the Jets can get their first win of the season against the unbeaten Patriots. And Buffalo will try to go to 3-0. We'll walk you through it all coming up on the Visa halftime.
Hi, Kurt, look forward to that. The takeaway by the Green Bay defense. Jones gets to the end zone. And the defense back on the field. Freeman is the running back. Again, inside handoff to him. And stop at the 29-yard line. See if Green Bay's going to let this clock run. They've got 2 timeouts. Broncos do have just over 80 yards rushing compared to 25 for the Packers.
I'm kind of surprised that Matt LaFleur has chosen to let this clock run down. When you make a stopper, you might be able to have 1 more possession.
Especially if Green Bay is kicking off to start the second half. Flacco, catch made, but tackled right away is Martinez. And now the timeout from Green Bay.
That's over 30 seconds, though, that you lost. And
well, you know, Rodgers doesn't need much if they get the ball back.
No.
Hail Mary is.
Well, and just getting into field goal range. You know, Mason Crosby, you know, last week, you know, a little bit nicer day weather-wise last week, but still the wind is down here, and he felt like he was good going this direction, you know, getting to the 40-yard line, you know, a 58-yard field goal attempt. So.
And Rashad Gary, the rookie from Michigan, who had that fumble recovery inside the 10-yard line that set up the touchdown moments ago, is the injured player. Looks like they're checking lower leg or foot area. Packers a young defense, one of the younger teams in the league, even with a couple of veterans like Crosby and Rodgers.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary very smart right now. I mean, he has hitched himself to Zadarius Smith and watching everything he does during the course of the week in his film study, his preparation for his opponents. So he's found himself a great mentor.
Rookies like Darnell Savage playing quite a bit in this Mike Pettin defense. And you've talked about this team and how they've added some free agents and some rookies, and it's worked well.
It really is a nice mix, and you've got the two guys off the edge, the Smith brothers out there. Adrian Amos has done a really good job at the safety position from a veteran perspective, and then you draft Darnell Savage. So you got Rashawn Gary, who's unfortunately down right now, but you add him to your edge pressure. So last year you kind of fixed your cornerback spot. Now you've fixed the edges and the safety spot. Really nice job by the Packers this offseason.
Can't beat the blitz.
And right there, young guy, just get down in bounds. Don't let him get you out of bounds, because we talked about them not using that timeout earlier. Well, Philip Lindsay just helped them out and got some time back to the Packers.
Gary headed to the locker room early. Check on that lower leg injury. Darius Shepard back to receive the punt. It bounces and rolls out of bounds around the 10-yard line of Green Bay. Colby Wadman with a big kick when the Broncos needed it.
Well, that was a bad kick that turned out good. I mean, it was so bad.
It's all about
that it ended up being good. Yeah, exactly.
The bounce of the football. And Shepard back there, Trevor Davis, who was the returner last week for Green Bay, traded to the Raiders. Reserve receivers traded this week for a 6th-round draft pick.
I mean, that was a low line drive. If that had been in the middle of the field, they were in trouble. Good thing it got out to the sideline and rolled out of bounds.
59-yard punt without a return. Just over a minute for Rodgers with a timeout from his 10-yard line. Jamal Williams gets across the 15. And the clock runs. Rodgers' numbers, and he came out on fire. 8 out of 14, over 140 yards and a touchdown.
58! 58! Hunt! Go! Hunt! 19! 19! Hey! Ice Wanda! Ice Wanda! Ice Wanda! Lena! Turbo!
Williams, flag. You can see Adam Gotsis talking to the official as if there was a hold.
Holding. Offense. Number 63. Half the distance to the goal. Remains second down.
Veteran center Corey Linsley, who has started every game since coming into the league in 2014.
And he's moving to his left, and Adam Gotsis is running a stunt back the opposite way. So
the foreman of that offensive line. Now 19 seconds, and it backs him up. They're going to run the clock out in this first half. Broncos get the ball to start the second half. Green Bay will be kicking off to Denver. Packers score first. Packers score last. Philip Lindsay, the only Denver touchdown as he ran it in, and the only turnover, a lost fumble on a sack of Flacco that the Packers were all over. 17-10, Green Bay leads here at Lambeau. The Visa halftime report is coming up here on Fox. Today's game flow is brought to you by Progressive. Packers have the lead at Lambeau and ready to kick off the second half to the Broncos with Darryl Johnston, Chris Myers, and nice to have you with us. It's a one-score game, which is good news for the Broncos. This is how the Packers have been winning games, right? A takeaway, they go in and they score, and they got to hold on. That's been the battle lately.
That's the MO. And what's the difference in the game here in the first half? A sack and a fumble created by the Green Bay Packers defense. What's the one thing that Denver can't do? Get a sack and create a turnover. So can they turn that corner here in the second half? But you just have to remember the first 2 weeks against this Packer team, they haven't been able to put that four-quarter game together. So the Bears and the Vikings got back into this late in the fourth quarter and had a costly interception with the game on the line. Denver just needs to stay true to what they did in the first half.
As we look at the stats, the Bronco offense, they've run the ball with success, so they're hanging in there. But at 0-2, they need to do more than just hang in there. Spencer back to receive the kick. And touchback to the field of Laura.
I'm going to start with Vic Fangio, who said after a bad first drive on defense, he said no matter how much I like how we settled down, it doesn't matter because if you turn the ball over inside the 5, it's trouble. Second half, he said keep the offensive balance going. He likes that defensively, make some stops. Matt LaFleur said he's liking how they were starting to get into that offensive rhythm. Biggest thing, got to convert on third downs. Defensively, we have to stiffen up and keep them behind the chains. All they want to do is ground and pound.
And the Broncos, they've won at every road stadium except in Wisconsin. Trailing here to start the second half, and Lindsey picking up where he left off. Matt LaFleur putting Flacco in the category of a Kirk Cousins type in terms of defensing or the style, and of course they took care of Cousins and the Vikings last week here in Lambeau.
Absolutely. He can make all the throws, but if you get pressure around him, that definitely impacts him. So the same as they did last week with Kirk Cousins, don't let him have that clean pocket when he's trying to throw the football.
Lindsey again, stopped from getting to the 35, short of the first down. It was Darnell Savage in the mix from his safety spot. So already Lindsey a season high rush yards, nearing the 60-yard mark.
Well, that's the ground and pound that Lauren mentioned. The Green Bay defense now, we've seen the pressure when they're passing the football, but they've got to stiffen up against this run, or Denver's just going to stay with it the whole second half.
On 3rd and 2, it's only a 3-man rush, and open for a first down is Noah Fant. Ball taken away, and there's no ruling that Fant was down. Jair Alexander took the ball out of the hands of the rookie Noah Fant. Unbelievable.
We'll take a look at this and see if it was a fumble. This was one of my biggest adjustments to the NFL. My rookie year, I had 3 fumbles. I never fumbled the ball in college. The guys at the NFL level attack the ball like you've never seen.
Is that there was a fumble picked up by the defense and returned. It's first down. Green.
And don't challenge that, because that was a great play by Jair Alexander.
But he may have been down where he took the ball away. His knee touches after he takes it right there, but that is clearly a Packer takeaway.
And there's your contact with his knee down, so we'll come back to the spot of the fumble.
All of these are reviewed. 7th takeaway for this Packer team in week 3 only, and we still have almost another half to go here.
The previous play is under review.
All right, so you got a second-year corner with a first-year rookie tight end. And what an aggressive defensive play. Ruled a fumble and Packer football on the field. All right, it was ruled a fumble on the field, and that is upheld, but spotted back at the 37 where Alexander was down with the takeaway, and they're consoling the rookie Noah Fant on the sideline of the Broncos, where his offensive coordinator said, look, he's a rookie. He has flashes of greatness and flashes of rawness. I think we saw the rawness. Jones in the backfield for Rodgers.
319. 319. Hey, can.
Hey, Brady,
Right. Go there. 258. 258.
inside the 30. Valdez-Scantling, Mike Pereira, the original when it comes to rules analyst. And Mike, just your thoughts on that takeaway by the Packers.
Well, first of all, I think it's a good call because the ball is out. But secondly, what I really liked is they let the play out. You know, it's close. The hand does touch him down with the knee down after he's recovered the ball. But as we remember in the Rams Saints a week ago, if you actually rule this play down and he wasn't, you cannot basically correct it. So I like the way that they made this judgment.
All right, thank you, Mike Pereira. Watching all the games, keeping an eye on things. Rodgers floats one. Catch made. It's going to be Danny Vitale. Stops short is the ruling. He thought he had a touchdown.
Oh, fullbacks get tackled inside the one. It's just not fair. Danny Vitale does everything right, but get it into the end zone. Always lost in the shuffle. You go out to the flat. He just gets by Josie Jewell right away. He's already out leveraged beyond him. Let's see if that knee's down. We got to cheer for him. No. No. Oh, no. Boy, that's close.
27-yard gain with Jones in.
Come on, Matt LaFleur. Hand it to 45.
Rodgers throws one. And incomplete for Valdez-Scantling. Will Parks, extra defensive back there in the coverage. Bryce Callahan remains out for this Bronco defense, hoping for a return with that foot injury. Todd Davis is back, coming off the calf injury. He was a team captain last year. They have not called his name much today. Extra lineman in for the Packers, Lucas Patrick. Jones slips one tackle and he's into the end zone for another Packer touchdown. He's got 2 today and he's leaping before the leap.
Justin Simmons told us one of the things we've got to do is we've got to tackle better. We've been in position to make some plays, to get off the field, or prevent big plays from happening. Watch 96 Shelby Harris come through. He's got an opportunity. Now he's being blocked, but he's got a chance to make that tackle right there. And then Kareem Jackson a little bit too far inside, and Aaron Jones beats him to the corner.
The formula for this Packer team: a takeaway, a touchdown. They have expanded their lead at Lambeau. Well, the Broncos, they've won everywhere on the road except in the state of Wisconsin over the existence of the Denver franchise. Even in Milwaukee and here in Green Bay, trailing once again. Broncos are looking for their 500th overall victory in the history of the franchise, and a frustrated look from the first-year head coach Vic Fangio.
Well, you come out at halftime and you say the one thing we can't do is turn the ball over inside the 5. That's just, that's an automatic touchdown virtually every time. And what did you do on your first possession? You have another turnover, not inside the 5, but inside your own end of the field, and did not respond well defensively after the turnover in the sudden change situation.
Dribbles through the back of the end zone. Flacco 10 out of 12, but only 79 yards passing. And is going to have to be a little bit more, I would guess. You tell me, you're the analyst, so you analyze. That's your job. He's going to have to be a little more aggressive throwing the football. Well,
to do that, he's going to have Rich Scangarello, his offensive coordinator, trust him. And unfortunately right now, the scoreboard is dictating a little bit of the style of offense you want to play down 14 here in the second half. Yeah, they can't do the ground and pound anymore that they were worried about. So we'll see if there's a little bit of a change with the passing game playing a bigger role.
Freeman protecting the football and showing, look at that, how tough with a gang of Packers he has a first down. It's like a mosh pit gliding across the 35-yard line.
Well, everybody's trying to create their turnover there. They've got him stood up. You've got like 5 different guys trying to pull the football out of his hand. I mean, watch this. They get him stopped. That's the first thing. Get him slowed down. Well, they haven't really slowed him down. Well, everybody take a turn. Try and rip the football out.
Kind of like one of those rugby Australian rules football. He picked up 12. It looked like he was stopped after half of that. Freeman again. Missed 2 tackles, but then there's 3 Packers waiting for him. Savage leading the way. Yeah, the Broncos, Darryl, the one thing they're winning in this game is the time of possession. But those turnovers and then a lack of a touchdown on that last field goal try, and they're in a deep hole here.
Yeah, it doesn't. When you've been winning time of possession, but when you turn the ball over inside the 5 and then inside the 40 on your own end of the field, it doesn't matter how long the other team has had the football. We talked about it at the top. It usually comes down to the turnover ratio, and right now it's +2 Packers.
Flacco for Lindsey, who slips a tackle. He's got the sideline to roam, and a good block. Spun up in the air when he crossed the Packer 30 by Darnell Savage.
Really nice job by Courtland Sutton, too. He's the guy out in front, makes the catch underneath, and then he's going to be the lead blocker down the field. Here comes Philip Lindsay outside. Just a little swing pass right there, breaks the tackle. Now he's got Courtland Sutton out in front of him. Nice play by Philip Lindsay.
Well, a good mix of the run and the pass. A pickup there of 36 yards. A career-long catch for Lindsay. 28-yard line of Green Bay. Flacco floats one for Courtland Sutton, and it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's going to be upset with himself on that one because he's got this. Courtland Sutton makes a really nice move. He gets on top, and Joe Flacco leads him a little bit too far to the outside. Doesn't give him enough room to get that possession in bounds.
That would have been a touchdown. He still made a spectacular effort to haul that football in, and Flacco knows it. We're going to have a timeout by the Broncos. Now, this is something Flacco talked about. When plays are sent in from upstairs, he has to repeat it and get the play in on time. Now this from State Farm. Aaron Rodgers catching his breath, checking out the scoreboard. 14-point Packer lead. Second down from the 28 of Green Bay is Denver. Philip Lindsay knocked down inside the 25. Tries to reach forward. It's under 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Pack led by 7 at the break. Another turnover, another touchdown at defensive Mike Pettin, who former head coach in Cleveland, who LaFleur relies on to run things when LaFleur's play calling on offense. Third and 6. Low throw, but the catch made by Courtland Sutton. He wasn't tagged right away. It looked like when he came back to the ball, Darryl, looked like he might be short of the first down. And this may be a situation where Fangio has to go for it.
Nice job going down and securing that football.
They're giving him the catch and a first down, and it is first down. Quick snap. Freeman carries, and Flacco alertly got that team up in a hurry to get the snap because it looked like there might have been a challenge on that catch for a first down. Let's get a game break with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. So Cowboys up 10-6 on the Dolphins. Dak Prescott connects with Amari Cooper, 19-yard score here. Cooper's second of the day. Cowboys lead this one 17-6. Chris, Darryl, and Laura.
Thank you. Cowboys on their way to 3-0. Packers hope to do the same, protecting a 24-10 lead. Flacco on second down. Goes short low. The catch made, slipping a tackle and getting near the first down, Jeff Heuerman. 2 low throws from Flacco in these last few tosses, but his receivers have been able to come up with it.
Yeah, and on that play right there, Will Redmond coming up. Maybe concerned about creating another turnover, ball down low, trying to come in there, get those hands, needs to wrap up a little bit better. That's a big tight end out there in the flat.
Picked up 10 yards. Now from the 8, 1st and goal. Freeman bounces outside and knocked down when he got around the 3-yard line by Jair Alexander, and he's frustrated. He thought he had enough after breaking a few tackles to get to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, he did the hard part. Watch as he bounces out with all the heavy traffic and the big bodies inside. Now he's one-on-one outside with a corner, and that's why he's frustrated. But you have to credit Jair Alexander. That was a nice tackle in the open field.
From the 4-yard line. That's the head coach of the Broncos. He doesn't look too convincing right now. But he will be if they can get to the end zone and to the 1-yard line. Lindsey. Now it's an important 3rd and goal. Important because you figure with the score, if they stay this close, they'd probably go on 4th.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Chris. He went for the 2-point play last week. There was a big 4th down out of the 40-yard line. He went for it before that, so he stayed true to his word to his players that he will play the game and coach the game aggressively.
Flacco for the end zone. Catch. Was he inbounds? No. It was Cortland Sutton. Tough angle over there. Let's take a closer look, because had it been ruled a catch, it would have been automatically reviewed. And the official's right there. Did that touch the white of the line?
Well, it's his right foot. Yeah, when that right foot comes down, he has possession. He's not dragging him. He actually lifted his right foot up and placed it back down.
They only have one challenge left after missing on a challenge earlier, so they're going to let it go. And on 4th and goal. Philip Lindsay, is he stopped? No! Touchdown Broncos! What determination and effort from the 5'8" Lindsay.
That is tremendous effort. I mean, Dean Lowry has him all wrapped up. I still don't know how he got away from him. Watch Big 94. He's the first guy down. I mean, this is stuffed right there. There's another. I mean, there's Dean Lowry right there. You got linebackers and defensive tackles all around him. The smallest guy on the field makes the biggest play.
Lowry is 6'6". He's almost 300 pounds. Kenny Clark's over 300. He did get some help. But what a run on 4th down. And the extra point. No good. By McManus. It ends the longest streak currently in the NFL. But the Broncos do find their way into the end zone. On a 4th down, after it looked like he was tackled, it was Philip Lindsay by a hair in the end zone. But the missed extra point.
After all that work.
8-point difference. And McManus had made 90 in a row. Listen how he missed. I mean, so reliable. He is just stunned. And our audio team of Kevin McCloskey, Chip Weaver, all over this as the Packers catch a break. Our technical director, Jared Legrand, who is a Denver resident, helping us out on the broadcast.
That's a sound that Bears fans never want to hear again.
That was almost like Parkey-esque in Chicago.
Leave it. 258.
Aaron Jones, there's a flag as he is stopped short of the 25. Philip Lindsay, couple of touchdowns. Aaron Jones, couple of touchdowns.
Holding. Offense. Number 80. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 1st down.
That's the 5th penalty accepted on the Packers. Only 2 against the Broncos.
This is an important drive right here for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, that was impressive after the turnover and the touchdown given up by the Broncos to come right back down the field, go down the field for a touchdown. That was a great response. What do the Packers have for their response on this series?
Rodgers incomplete. There was pressure. Broncos still don't have a sack this season or a takeaway, but Von Miller made Rodgers uncomfortable.
They've been close a couple of times. The ball has just been able to come out a little bit quicker, whether it's been Von Miller or Bradley Chubb kind of bearing down. And the other situations, it's been the athletic ability of Aaron Rodgers to extend the play and get away from that pressure.
On 2nd and 20 from the 15. Rodgers has time and has to get rid of it. Well covered. Looked like there wasn't anybody in the clear.
And that's the reason why I find it hard to believe that there are no sacks or turnovers created by this defense, because it's a very good combination of pressure players up front and coverage guys behind. The last two plays, Aaron Rodgers has really had nowhere to go with the football. So the opportunity for coverage sacks and things like that is very hard for this defense.
There's an opportunity here on 3rd and 20. Rodgers flips to Jamal Williams, and he's got room to get across the 30, but is stopped there. Almost slipped that up to the 35, and that would have been enough for a first down. He picked up 17. They needed 20.
Yeah, real nice job by Justin Simmons and Trey Marshall coming up from their safety positions there. He was getting close to that first down marker, and sure tackles by both those guys.
J.K. Scott, the NFL's most used punter through the first couple of weeks of the season. And back at the 20-yard line is Deontay Spencer. Letting the play clock run down inside of 3. Scott moves this one. Spencer should have let it go. As the rain comes down, there's a flag down, and he goes out of bounds.
You're absolutely right, Chris. He just needed to let that one go. You got to know where you are on the field.
And you can see the rain. It rained this morning. Field was covered. A light mist through much of the game, but it stopped, and now showers that were forecasted in the area.
During the return, blocking the back. Return team number 27. Half the distance to the goal from the 5. Timeout.
Broncos in a hole, but momentum has shifted just a bit. Fun game here at Lambeau. Packers in their throwback jerseys from the late 30s and 40s. Penalty backs up the Broncos. Philip Lindsay tries to get to the 5-yard line.
So let's go back and look at some of the missed opportunities this afternoon. Royce Freeman has the touchdown run, but a really poor holding call, in my opinion, brings that back. They end up having to kick a field goal, so you lose 4 points on that drive. An opportunity to recover the fumble. They don't take advantage of it. Elijah Wilkinson misses it. There's a touchdown there. And then a great play right there by Jair Alexander. Strips the ball from Noah Fant. That leads to 7 more points. So just some missed opportunities for the Broncos during the course of the game.
Philip Lindsay again. It's going to be 3rd down. But the Broncos have shown the ability, Darryl, against this takeaway defense of the Packers to have long drives. They have a 8.5 minute, 7.5 minute, a 6-minute drive, and producing 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah, 42 plays on their 3 scoring drives that you mentioned right there. The big thing again has been the turnovers in their end of the field.
Light rain falling. In his own end zone, Flacco airs it out for the sideline and open. Cortland Sutton ball spinning to the 42 of Green Bay. What a throw from Flacco.
Really nice double move by Cortland Sutton on this against Kevin King. Watch, about 8 yards into this, boom, boom, double tap. There's your separation over the top. Will Redmond a little bit late getting there. Great throw by Joe Flacco. And that's what he does really well, the deep ball. And that's going to be something that offensive coordinator Rich Scangarello is going to have to try to find a way to get more into this offense.
Flacco had to hang in there from his own end zone. The pressure was coming. They got to him right after he let the ball go. Freeman inside the 40 gets a push from one of his linemen. Blake Martinez, Packers leading tackler, who said he saw a lot of Freeman in college, both in the Pac-12, Freeman from Oregon, Martinez from Stanford. So he's familiar with his running style.
Yeah, very complimentary of Royce Freeman. But again, here's that area. The Broncos done a really nice job here this afternoon, kind of powering through this area of the field that gave them troubles.
Flacco to throw. And intercepted by Savage. There's a flag down at the 46-yard line. But the throw was way off. There had to be some kind of confusion for Flacco to throw the ball in that area. Emmanuel Sanders is being helped up off the field. It's just a clean pick.
What a great job. Sure looks to me like he's got his hands underneath that.
Holding offense, number 65. The 10-yard penalty from the previous spot remains second down.
Well, now wait a minute.
I saw an official coming in waving incomplete. So it sounds like they're calling that an incomplete.
So you can challenge this if you're the Packers. It certainly looked, and there is the challenge flag. LaFleur is 1 out of 3, winning 1 of 3 challenges. If it was ruled, that's what he said, if it was ruled an interception, then at least you'd review it automatically. But Darrell, I'm with you on that replay. It looked like the hand, it was a clean pick as low as that throw was. And in real time, I didn't think he did.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field that there was an interception on the play. Previous plays under review.
Well, no, that it was apparently ruled incomplete. We'll sort it out. There is a challenge from the Packers sideline. Challenge successful. Should have been ruled an interception to start. Another takeaway for the Packers. Obviously, they decline the holding penalty, and they take over what they lose on the fact that this, and Mike Pereira will explain, was yardage on the interception return.
Oscar. 319.
Jamal Williams. And let's bring in our rules analyst, Mike Pereira. Mike?
Yeah, again, here's what we're talking about here. It's a great play, great interception. Hands are underneath. And really what you'd like to do is let this play out, because at least now Green Bay gets the ball, but they don't get the advance. So you only basically get half the play right. Whereas if you let the play go like they did earlier in the fumble that we had, then you wouldn't be dealing with yet a mistake. So, again, let them go.
And let Mike, they go. Once the announcement was made, the stadium roared, and the defense ran to the goal line for their moment in the sun or in the cloudy rain. Thank you, Mike Pereira. Jamal Williams carries. And just short. Let's see. That last moment, that last push, didn't hear a whistle. Looks like he got enough for the first down. We'll check the marker. Yeah, they lost about 15 yards on the return. Had they called it an interception immediately by Darnell Savage. And Darrell, that's 8 takeaways for the season for this Packer team.
I tell you what, they are. Everybody talks about this Packer defense when they watch them on film. They're fast, they're athletic, they're having fun, they're enjoying this.
And Rodgers had to dump it in a hurry because Bradley Chubb was in on him. Smile from each, but still no sacks. I don't want to sound like a parrot who's repeating itself, but it's a storyline it's still stunning when you think about the talent on this defense and a defensive-minded head coach. For the year, no sacks or takeaways. And they know it.
Double. No. Hey, single. 319. 319.
Incomplete. Looks like Rodgers just got rid of that. Boy, for as quickly as they started this game, this Packer offense, and remember, Matt LaFleur said it was the best week of practice since he'd been here, not just this year, since he had been the head coach of the Packers.
Yeah, very good with their communication, the mechanics, in and out of the huddle, the tempo, everything. And then you come out and you have that drive. You expect it to continue, but you know, again, for the third game in a row to start this season, this offense just kind of gets mired down. And you know, will he try and do it? Will you mention, hey, when we get mired down, I got to go up tempo. I got to do something. I got to change up a little bit.
1 out of 5 on third down. Rodgers, pressure comes late. He's being chased, has to throw early. And out of bounds. It's fourth down. He's frustrated.
Yeah, the Bronco defense has not gotten a sack and not generated a turnover, but they have done their end of the bargain, you know, from snap to snap. You know, this offense, the way they've missed out on opportunities. We just showed you that series of plays of what has happened to the Broncos offense.
Especially when you think of they've turned it over 3 times. The defense has had to dig in a little more for Denver.
Absolutely.
Scott back to punt. Had that 66-yarder earlier, and that penalty was tacked on. This time he lets it go, and wisely. There's a flag back at the 35-yard line. And this will happen often where LaFleur says, I want to know what my quarterback's thinking. I'm the play caller. Yeah, I'm the head coach, but Mike Pettine's been a head coach. I trust him. He's got this.
Yeah, it's a partnership, you know, and the most important thing is, hey, what did you see? You know, what did you see during that series? That was not a very good series
Illegal
for
formation.
Green Bay's offense.
Kicking team. Gunner wasn't up on the line. It's a 5-yard penalty added onto the touchback spot. The ball's at the 25.
In just 6 days, champ against champ. Errol the True Spence Jr. takes on Showtime Sean Porter. It's a World Championship unification bout from Staples Center in Los Angeles. Also, champ Anthony Durrell defends his title against David Benavidez. It's Saturday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. You can catch it on live pay-per-view. Order on the Fox Sports app. Philip Lindsay got to the 30 and then was cut down as that brings an end to the third quarter. Broncos within 8. Fast start for the Pack. Denver with the football. Start of the fourth quarter. That's how the scoring has gone so far with Daryl Johnston. Laura Oakman's down on the field. I'm Chris Myers, and we're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. Packers trying to go to 3-0. Broncos going for their first win of the season as Philip Lindsay is stopped short of the 30-yard line. He's carried 22 times in this game. He's over 85 yards. He has a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, and right now, you know, this Bronco offense has been doing a good job, you know, sustaining these long drives. It's been the opportunistic Packers defense that has really kind of created the way the game has flowed today. So here we go on a third down. Can they make another stop here? Get this offense out. If Green Bay's offense comes on the field, they've got to put a drive together. The defense has done their job so far this afternoon.
Flacco to throw. Catch. And falling forward short of the first down is Freeman. Kevin King, who made the big play to seal it against the Vikings last week on an end zone interception, kept Freeman from advancing to a first down.
Here's the challenge with the Mike Pettin defense. Look at all the guys you've got standing up. Now you've got to sort through those guys. It sure looks like a pressure look, but everybody drops out. Now your back's breaking hot. Here comes your defender off of his guy to make a stop short of the first down.
Shepard is back. Colby Wadman, career-long punt of 65 yards. He had a 64-yarder in week 1 against Oakland. This one's short. Up at the 26-yard line, the Packer offense will take over. And after that initial drive, when they marched downfield and Valdez-Scantling caught the touchdown toss from Rodgers, the scoring has come from a short field, from those turnovers that you just talked about, as you take a look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers today.
No, not Rodgers-esque at all. And, you know, very similar to last week. You know, open the game with 3 scoring drives, 3 touchdown drives, and then the next 11 series, you don't score any points. Well, and we're kind of in that same style today.
And a difference in the ground game. Jones had a career-high carry list of 23. He's only got 7 in this game. Jones the carry here and gets up to the 30. Time for a game break, and let's check in with Carissa.
Thanks, Chris. Well, the Packers will see the Eagles on Fox Thursday night. So here's what's happening in this game. Stafford connects with Marvin Jones for a 12-yard score. Lions up 27-17 on the Eagles. Chris?
I thank you. The Cowboys are winning at home against Miami. Vikings are blowing out the Raiders. Kansas City 30-13 over the Ravens in the 4th quarter.
319's at Hunt. Hunt. Can. Blue 58. Blue 50.
Open is Adams. Up to the 43, stays in bounds. And a first down. Pick up a 14.
Yeah, a little bit of respect there for Davante Adams. Chris Harris way off in coverage. Playing a little bail technique right there. Just gets up, gets the first down. A little slip at the end.
4th catch of the game for Davante Adams. Valdez-Scantling has 4 and the touchdown.
He's coming down. No, he's out there. Double. Yeah. 319. 319.
Casual conversation before the snap. Rodgers hands to Jones, who gets to the 45, and Von Miller making the tackle. Laura?
Right now, as this defense tries to stop this Packers offense, linebacker Josie Jewell is questionable in his return. He's been out with a leg injury, Chris.
All right, thank you. He had been taking in the defensive signals. Todd Davis was back, as we mentioned, at that linebacker position. The Broncos lost Derek Wolfe to injury in the 2nd quarter of this game. Packers protecting an 8-point lead. They've never trailed in this game.
319 up.
Pass is caught, but thrown down right away is Robert Tonyan, the reserve tight end. And at that tight end position, Jimmy Graham does not have a catch today.
Yeah, and this is a big snap right here. You look at what the Packers have done today on 3rd down, just 1 for 6, and that will bog your offense down. And yeah, that last series, it looked like on 2nd down they were just trying to get the first because they've struggled so much on 3rd.
Adams, bottom of your screen on 3rd and 5. Now he moves into the slot. Rodgers dumps it off. And good for a first down. To the 41 is Jamal Williams.
Nice job by Jamal Williams. Number 30 just checks up inside on his pass protection. Quick stick move, and he's out leveraged. Todd Davis to the flat.
Pickup of 10 yards. And Rodgers over 220 yards through the air today. And at the 41 now of Denver.
Single 5-1. Set it. 319. 319. Come on.
Williams has some blocks and fights near a first down. Inside the 32. Justin Hollins having to play because of the injury to Josie Jewell a little more. making the tackle. Packers, Darrell, only 60 yards rushing in today's game. They hadn't had a lot of opportunities with the time of possession.
V19! V19! Can't! Oscar! Turbo!
Aaron Jones. And he won't get anything. He got shoved back. It's going to be third down. Looked like the safety play of Parks and Jackson were up to push him back. They were ready for that. And they're going to give him forward progress. I don't know. Let's take a look. Looked like they. Yeah, well.
It's close to the 31.
Can't risk a challenge if you're the Broncos, and it was only a second down run where they lost a challenge in the first half. So spotted right at the 31.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's going to be one of the things that both of these teams worked through during the course of this season, with both of them using a very similar offense that you talked about it, Chris. It's verbose, especially on the third downs and stuff. So we have seen a lot of delay of games, getting in and out of the huddle. The mechanics haven't been as smooth as you'd like to see here if you're one of the offensive coaches in week 3.
Yeah, I wonder if they thought maybe they didn't clearly get the first down. There was some confusion last week on the part of LaFleur and Rodgers of going for it on fourth when they thought they might have gotten the first down. Rodgers with a quick throw and a good block inside as Valdez-Scantling, but nowhere to go, and slow getting up another Bronco. The rain has let up. 7.5 minutes to play, and again worth pointing out that the Broncos defense, although they've been tough today, especially with their team turning it over 3 times, they still don't have a sack or a takeaway in this game or this year. Quick pass. Geronimo Allison, and he's knocked down right away.
Yeah, both of these defenses, it's hard to get stuff done out on the edge. There's so much speed in both of these fronts. It's not just the secondary, and a lot of times that's the situation, but your linebackers, even your defensive line, are very active and down the line of scrimmage.
Well, Von Miller sitting on 98 career sacks. Chubb, who made that play last year, had a dozen. The Broncos had at least 1 sack in every game last year. Made a big defensive play after a loss of 1. Chance for a sack here on 3rd and long. The blitz is on, the throw is out, and the catch is made. Short of the first down, it's Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, but this is a good play call. A little bit of off coverage right here. He's going to prevent him from getting the 3rd down, but you make the field goal a little bit easier. Devontae Bosby coming up, making a good tackle.
This try will be of 41 yards. Made 1 earlier. He's going back to last year. Made 10 straight field goals. He hit from 42 previously. And Crosby nails it. Now an 11-point Packer lead. Under 6 minutes to play in Green Bay. Scoring drive of over 7.5 minutes. 11 plays. They do get points and make it a 2-score game against the visiting Broncos. Packers have had wins to start the year against Chicago and Minnesota. This is their best point total in 3 games. Touchback here and trying to hang on again.
And it's really been The mistakes by the Broncos. Preston Smith with the sack, forced fumble, leads to a touchdown. Aaron Jones right up the middle. And then a great play by Jair Alexander, stealing the ball from Noah Fant. And another Aaron Jones touchdown as he bounces outside. Now, Joe Flacco also had an interception. That didn't result in any points. But the Broncos were moving towards points themselves, so probably cost them at least a field goal opportunity.
They were on the Packers side of the field. 3 takeaways for Green Bay today. 8 for the year, leads the NFL. Freeman still showing some patience with the run game. Even though the Broncos are down 2 scores and 5.5 to go, and 2 timeouts.
On that last scoring drive that they had when they got their last touchdown, it started out with the runs, and then they were able to hit some play action passes off it. They've gotten a little bit more aggressive with the passing game here.
Without a huddle, Freeman on the reception. Gets out of bounds, short of the first down. Now Philip Lindsay, career high, 22 carries, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Flacco, 16 out of 21, 189 yards. He has that interception you mentioned, and no touchdown passes. Freeman for the first down, and gliding through the middle of the field, gets up to the 44. And the Broncos keep it rolling.
Nice job by Ronald Leary. He's going to pull from the right guard spot. You'll see the kick out block, 65 right there. Royce Freeman gets up inside him for the first down.
At some point, you think Flacco's going to go more to Emmanuel Sanders, who only has 2 catches today. Overthrows his running back Freeman. I mean, Sanders is the go-to guy, a 2-time Pro Bowler, has 2 touchdowns coming in.
Yeah, lucky right here. This one sails a little bit. Gets on top of Royce Freeman quick. Good thing there was not a Packer defender behind that.
On 2nd and 10. Philip Lindsay is smothered. Blake Martinez with a dozen tackles.
Seen a couple of routes where they've allowed Philip Lindsay to go back across the grain. This one he's just going to swing out. There's Blake Martinez right there. Looks like he might be bringing pressure, but he drops off. He sees this play develop the whole time. That's easy for him, even in the open field.
If that doesn't say Green Bay Packer defense, I don't know what does. Flacco gets rid of it early, but the catch for a first down and gliding inside the 45 is Noah Fant. The pressure was on Flacco.
Really nice job by Joe Flacco, hanging in there, giving up a little bit of ground with pressure in his face. Throws a great ball out to Noah Fant, hits him in stride, lets him run for the first down.
And Flacco is over 200 yards through the air. Fant, who had a costly fumble, ball was stripped away from him, making his 3rd catch, as we have an injured Packer. We will check on him. Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith, who came in with a bit of an ankle problem over on the sideline. Rashawn Gary, the rookie who was injured in the first half, has come back in. Kyler Fackrell has come in for Smith. As Flacco sets to throw, hesitates, and he's sacked. There is Gary right on cue.
Here's Rashawn Gary right here. And again, this is a combination of coverage and pressure. I mean, Joe Flacco has time in the pocket. It starts to break down, and then You know, Elijah Wilkinson, number 68, the tackle there. Don't wait and set on that. These are big guys coming at you with a lot of momentum.
Loss of 7. Open. Emmanuel Sanders had it, but a hit knocked it out by Alexander. At least it would have put him in range for a possible field goal because they need 2 scores. They're running out of time and plays.
Well, an opportunity to convert on 3rd down. That would have gave them about a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, which is much better than being in the 3rd and 17 they're at right now.
Lindsey, low throw. It's incomplete. It was bobbled and it's 4th down. And now what do you do if you're the Broncos?
Just some more missed opportunities for this Broncos team. You know, Emmanuel Sanders an opportunity to make a catch and put it in a more 3rd manageable. Joe Flacco, low throw. But Phillip Lindsay's got to make that catch right there. Now we got 4th down. They have to go for it. It's a 2-possession game. They've got no choice. But boy, it could have been a lot easier 4th down than 4th and 17.
Yeah, need to get all the way to the 34-yard line. They're snapping it at their own 49. Pressure coming. Flacco gets rid of it. Royce Freeman has it. They're going to call him down. That's debatable, but he's ruled down either way. It wasn't going to be enough for a 1st down. Preston Smith came in like a house of fire.
Yeah.
That's the right call. He was down. Ball hadn't left his hand. And even though Freeman, and it was a great effort, Freeman wasn't going to get the 1st down.
Well, it's justified that it should be the defense for this team that makes the plays to kind of seal the victory for the Green Bay Packers. And a couple of big plays, one by Rashawn Gary and then followed up by Preston Smith at the end of that series.
Well, even Aaron Rodgers said early in the year the identity of this Packer team, I'm paraphrasing, but the defense and how they win games. I mean, this offense of Green Bay will be a lot better later in the year than now because of the reasons you've talked about. But the defense is keeping them above water as they're on their way to 3-0. And Williams has plenty of room. He's got a 1st down and he stays in bounds. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning unless Denver uses a timeout here. And they do, so they'll have 1 remaining. More on this Packer defense, Laura.
And more on this identity. One of the things that Blake Martinez told me is we have a certain Packer way, we all know that, but now it's molding into our own thing, the 2019 Packer way, getting away from the historical sense of it and into the current sense. And a big reason why these free agents they brought in. Zadarius Smith, he brought 30 defensive guys out for dinner to watch the game this past Thursday night. And they say Zadarius has been absolutely huge, not just growing this bigger bond we are seeing each week out in the field, but especially off of it, which Blake said just as important with this identity.
Well, they have 5 sacks today, Laura. Preston Smith has 3, and that goes with the 3 takeaways. Perfect blend of veteran free agents and youthful draft picks. Now the Packers use a timeout. And there's a smile. That's a winning smile.
Yeah, easy to smile. 27-16 at 2:07.
With the football.
With the football. With the football. But I tell you, the way this defense is playing, and you see their statistics for this afternoon, it just works perfectly as this offense struggles to find their stride. There's been, flashes of brilliance, in the first 3 games this year, but they just haven't been able to sustain it throughout the entire game. And that was one of the things that Corey Lindsley talked about with us on Saturday. We know we have to play 4 quarters. We have the ability to execute. We just haven't got there yet. So that's their challenge. But to have Mike Pettin and his defense playing as well as they are right now, as you kind of go through those growing pains of really kind of understanding the details of this offense, what a fortunate opportunity.
It's looking a lot like the Wade Phillips, Sean McVay combo with the young Matt LaFleur calling plays and a defensive guy who's been a head coach. that you can rely on. And we're at the 2-minute mark. Flacco and the Broncos on the verge of going 0-3. Packers going the other way. We hope you stay tuned for the State Farm postgame show coming up only on Fox. Maybe some bonus coverage of that Lion-Eagle game. It's a 3-point difference. Hopefully we can get you out there. The Vikings won their home game against the Raiders 34-14. Packers trying to run out the clock.
Let's go. Let's keep it on. We're good.
And get ready for the Eagles on Thursday night here.
V19.
Williams wanting to stay in bounds and does. And a timeout used by the Broncos, and that's their last. Let's check in for another game break with Carissa Thompson.
Talking about the Eagles, here you go, Chris. They're down by 10 against Detroit when Wentz finds Aguilar for this 2-yard score, his second of the day. Eagles down 27-24. Eagles have the ball with just over 3 minutes remaining. Chris?
All right, thank you. Hopefully we'll get bonus coverage there depending upon the time here. Denver out of timeouts. Well, for Matt LaFleur, he warned his team about an 0-2 Denver team coming in. To be alert. They didn't take the cheese. They stood up to the challenge. They're on their way to icing their third straight to start his career as a head coach and taking advantage of back-to-back home games after winning the opener on the road at Chicago. Yes, and for this Packer team, in the midst of 3 in a row at home, they're going to play 5 of 6 at home. I mentioned the Thursday night game you'll see on Fox, big game at Dallas. They go home with the Lions and Raiders before at Kansas City. Chiefs are on their way to going 3-0 and a close one with Baltimore.
And kind of funny talking to Aaron Rodgers last week, and you got into that 5 home games in the next 6, and he's like, I'd kind of prefer that a little bit later in the year when your teams are a little bit nervous coming in here when the weather could be poor, but you got to do what you got to do. So they've done a really good job here taking advantage of the home string, because that's going to be a tough back end of the schedule on the road.
Green Bay.
And the Packers finish the regular season indoors. They will finish indoors in Minnesota and Detroit. Well, Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are still working things out on the offense, but that's not a bad deal. They told us coming in we haven't played our best football overall, the Packer team, but they've played enough to be in position to be 3-0.
Well, some positives that they're going to be able to draw from, during the course of the game today. But Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur are not going to be happy with the offensive performance. The great thing is this defense keeps giving them opportunities to win games. So you're 3-0. Is it great? Is it perfect? No, but you're 3-0.
And Crosby misses from 45. Still a 2-score game. He has made 2 from just over 40. I mentioned 5 sacks today. We've talked about the takeaways.
And this is why it's so strange to me that the Broncos don't have these. They have the ability to make these types of game-changing plays for their team. And it has been a huge difference maker for this Packer team, the way this defense has been able to get after the quarterback, take the football away, and you can see it's being taught. The play that Jair Alexander made on Noah Fant was just a great play. Those are textbook things that your coaches tell you about that you implemented during the course of the game.
Underneath throw as the clock runs as Royce Freeman. Yeah, I want to go back to Matt LaFleur because, they're still ironing things out. He said, I'm not worried about my offense. He said, I want it to be the Green Bay Packer offense. He's trying to blend with what Aaron Rodgers likes, with what he brings as a play caller, and knows he has a defense that will give the offense many opportunities.
Yes, and it was interesting to hear Vic Fangio say from week 1 against Chicago to week 2 against Minnesota, I saw more of the plays that Aaron Rodgers likes, the plays that I used to see when I was a defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears and they were running the McCarthy system. So definitely kind of a blend happening now, and you're trying to get to that point where you feel comfortable with the offense that you put together.
And the Broncos usually a fast starting team to open the season. They're going to fall to 0-3. They have the Jags up next. And no sacks from the defense and no takeaways. That's a stunner. Meanwhile, the Packers with 8 takeaways through 3 games. And you can tack on another sack. Zadarius Smith. 6 sacks today for the Packers. And that's lights out on the Broncos. Packers, as they chant "Go Pack Go," to 3-0. The Broncos 0-3.
Yeah, just this is the place that the defensive players are waiting to get in. You're just pinning your ears back, coming after the quarterback in that one.
We'll be back to wrap things up from Lambeau. 27-16, Green Bay, your winner.